Imagine a busy city street where every day is a mix of noise, movement, and stories waiting to unfold. Amidst the constant rush, there's a small corner, often overlooked by the crowd, where a street musician pours his heart into every note. His music, raw and passionate, reaches anyone willing to stop and listen. Day after day, he returns to that same spot, hoping for a little recognition, a bit of luck, or perhaps a break that could change his life forever. What if I told you that one day something unexpected happened? A young aspiring performer steps into his world, asking for a small favor, a harmless request to share the street corner for a few hours. Little did the musician know, this moment would spark a chain of events that would lead to something far greater than he ever imagined, a life-changing opportunity, but one that would test his patience and belief in himself. This is the story of Dave, a street musician, a young dreamer, and an opportunity that almost slipped through their fingers. What makes it even more intriguing is the source of this offer, completely unexpected and completely out of the blue. Dave had been a street musician for as long as he could remember. Every morning he packed up his guitar, put on his worn-out jacket, and headed to the same corner he'd claimed as his own in the city. His spot was just outside a popular cafe where people often paused for their morning coffee. He played his heart out, hoping that his music would touch someone, anyone. But street performing wasn't always easy. Some days people walked by without even a glance in his direction, and on other days they stopped, tossed a few coins, and listened for a moment before moving on with their busy lives. But despite the hardships, Dave had always loved the street. It had become more than just a place to play. It was his home, his stage, his livelihood. His guitar, though worn from years of use, was his most prized possession, carrying with it the echoes of every note he'd ever strummed. One day, as Dave was lost in his music, a young boy approached him. The boy, no older than 19 or 20, stood awkwardly a few feet away, clutching a small guitar of his own. He looked out of place, shy yet determined. After a few moments of hesitation, the boy finally spoke up. "Hey, man. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind if I played here for a bit. I've been looking for a spot, but everything's taken. Just for a little while, I promise." Dave looked at the kid. Street performers were territorial, and for good reason. Their spot was their livelihood. Sharing it wasn't something that came easy, but there was something about the boy, something in his eyes that reminded Dave of himself when he was just starting out. The same nervous energy, the same hope. "All right, kid. You can play for a bit, but don't get too comfortable. This spot's prime, and I need it back soon," Dave said, half joking. The boy's face lit up with a grateful smile. He quickly set up his guitar and began to play. As Dave watched him, he realized something. This kid was good. His fingers danced across the guitar strings effortlessly, and his voice, though youthful, had a raw and genuine quality to it. Passers-by started to slow down, some even stopping to listen. A few coins clinked into the boy's guitar case. For the next few hours, they took turns playing. The boy introduced himself as Sam, a young musician trying to find his way in the bustling city. Dave noticed how Sam's confidence grew with each song. There was something about watching the kid find his rhythm that made Dave feel proud. Maybe it was because Sam reminded him of a younger version of himself, full of dreams, but unsure of how to make them a reality. As days passed, Sam began returning to the spot more frequently. He always asked Dave for permission before setting up his guitar, and Dave, finding it hard to say no, would allow it. Slowly but surely, they began to form an unspoken bond. They didn't talk much, but through their music, they understood each other. There was a respect between them, built on shared struggles and the love for performing. Then one afternoon, as they played side by side, something unexpected happened. A man in a sharp suit, clearly out of place in the gritty street environment, approached them. He stood there for a few moments, listening intently, his eyes shifting between Dave and Sam. After what felt like an eternity, the man finally spoke. "You two have something special here. I've been looking for fresh talent for a project I'm working on, and I think you both could be a perfect fit. How about a recording session?" Dave and Sam exchanged bewildered glances. A recording session? Could this be real? They had heard stories of scam artists pretending to be talent scouts, preying on hopeful musicians like themselves. But something about the man seemed genuine. Noticing their hesitation, the man pulled out a business card and handed it to Dave. "I'm with a local record label. We're always on the lookout for unique sounds. If you're interested, give me a call." And just like that, the man walked away, leaving Dave and Sam standing there, stunned. This could be it, the break they'd both been waiting for. But the excitement was quickly overshadowed by doubt. Dave, having been in the music scene for years, had grown skeptical of promises that seemed too good to be true. He had heard countless stories of musicians being lured in by false promises, only to be disappointed in the end. For the next few days, neither Dave nor Sam mentioned the offer. Both of them were lost in their own thoughts, unsure of what to make of the situation. Dave couldn't help but think back to all the years he'd spent playing on the streets, chasing after the elusive dream of making it big. And now, with an opportunity right in front of him, he found himself paralyzed with fear. Sam, on the other hand, was battling a different set of emotions. He was young and inexperienced, and the thought of entering a professional recording studio both thrilled and terrified him. He didn't want to let this chance slip away, but he also didn't want to get his hopes up only to be let down. Finally, after a long day of playing, Dave broke the silence. "About that recording session. What do you think?" Dave asked, his voice low. Sam, who had been waiting for Dave to bring it up, shrugged nonchalantly, though it was clear from his expression that he had been thinking about it constantly. "I don't know, man. It sounds amazing. But what if it's a scam? What if we go through all this and end up with nothing?" Sam replied, voicing both their fears. Dave nodded. He understood Sam's concerns all too well, but there was something different this time, something he couldn't quite put into words. Maybe it was the way they sounded together when they played, or maybe it was the connection they had formed over the past few weeks. Whatever it was, Dave found himself wanting to take a chance. "Look, kid, I've been doing this a long time. I've had my share of disappointments, but this feels different. I think we should go for it," Dave said, surprising even himself with his newfound optimism. Sam looked at Dave, a mixture of surprise and relief on his face. Slowly, a smile spread across his lips. "You really think we've got a shot?" Dave grinned. "Yeah, I do." With that, they made the call. The next few days were a whirlwind of excitement and nerves. They met with the man from the record label who, much to their relief, turned out to be legitimate. He arranged for a studio session, and before they knew it, Dave and Sam found themselves standing in a professional recording studio, staring at the microphones in front of them. The recording process was unlike anything they had ever experienced. It was intense, exhilarating, and nerve-wracking all at once. But as they played, something magical happened. The producer was impressed by their unique blend of styles. Dave's seasoned, soulful sound, paired with Sam's youthful energy, created a sound that was unlike anything else out there. After a few sessions, they were offered a contract. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was a start, a chance to get their music out into the world and see where it could take them. As they signed the papers, Dave couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. All those years of playing on the streets, waiting for his big break, And now it was finally happening. And to think, it all started because he decided to share his spot with a young, aspiring performer. In the end, their partnership became something much bigger than either of them had imagined. Together, they created music that resonated with people, and their journey as musicians took off in ways they had never thought possible. But it all came down to that one moment, a decision to trust, to take a chance, and to believe in an opportunity that seemed too good to be true. Little did they know, it was the start of something life-changing.